let's dive straight into it. I actually want you to share with people where we are, because this is not my studio and we're in this beautiful place, and I think you're the best person to give us a visual tour if you're watching, and if you're listening.
If you're listening, we're sitting in the middle of a live room in a studio called the Clubhouse in upstate Rhinebeck, New York. If you're watching, you're seeing all the beautiful candles and stuff. This is probably one of my favorite places in the whole world. This is the room that, oh man, I mean, I've made all of my albums here, all of my music, and I've had some of the most magical moments of my life in this room. And so I'm going to be probably a little emotional just like even sitting in here, just because as I sit here and as we talk, it's just memories kind of circling around of just like time. And it's an amazing studio.
Yeah, you can feel it. I felt it when I walked in, and I can feel it right now. There's a different energy in here. So I'm so grateful that you allowed us to come in and share this with the rest of the world through this interview. And it's really beautiful, actually, being in a space where an artist creates and moves and cries and breathes. Yeah. And I think it's rare. You don't really get access to that. I think you go see artists in a concert or in a public space, but you don't really get this. And I thought where I wanted to start this interview was kind of roll back to your announcement about tour, and you talk about this in your song, Who I Am. You say, and I'm going to be looking at my notes a lot because I haven't yet learned all your lyrics off by heart, and I know the fans are going to be really heartbroken. They're like, Jay, how have you not done this yet? But if I'm on my phone, I'm reading lyrics back to you. So in Who I Am, it says, it broke my heart when I canceled tour, had my soul and my heart going back and forth. Yeah. And I wanted to read the message you actually put up on Instagram at the time, because I remember it going out. Yeah. We were talking about it.
We were talking the night before. Yeah. You were actually the person I texted at like 1 a.m. that night when I was just in complete spin of what to do. And I just remember feeling so much like, I think in those situations, it feels really hard to ask people to give you advice or to give you an opinion, because it's such a big deal, you know, to do something like that. And I remember assuming you were going to reply something along the lines of, you can do it, you know, just, you know, you got it. Like, we can do this, you know, we can figure out a way. And you were just like, in the most loving way, I can't remember exactly, something along the lines of just like, whatever you need, take care of yourself, you know. And I remember when I read that, my whole body just like sunk into the bed, and I was like, oh God, like, yeah, that was really important to me. So thank you for that. No. But yeah, so sorry, go on.
No, no. I'm so glad that you remember that. I remember you telling me that, you know, on tour, an artist has to do something like, or someone like yourself has to do like 150 shows minimum. Mm-hmm. And I remember asking you, at what point do you feel like you can't do another show? Mm. And you said around like 50. Yeah. And I was just like, what? I was like, so wait, you have to do 100. And it was so funny because I went on my world tour last year. I only did 40 shows. Yeah. And I felt it around 33. Yeah. And I was like, wow, Shawn would
probably has something to do with relative to when the end is.
Yeah. No, but 50 is
like any race, you know?
And so anyway, you said, there were 2 times you posted about it, but this one you said, this breaks my heart to have to say this, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to postpone the next 3 weeks of shows. I've been touring since I was 15, and to be honest, it's always been difficult to be on the road, away from friends and family. After a few years off the road, I felt like I was ready to dive back in, but the decision was premature, and unfortunately, the toll of the road and the pressure has caught up to me, and I've hit a breaking point. After speaking with my team and health professionals, I need to take some time to heal and take care of myself and my mental health, first and foremost. As soon as there are more updates, I promise you, I will let you know. Love you guys.
Yeah.
Walk me through how hard that time was for you mentally, physically, even before having to send that message. Because I think when people see that message, they think you've just decided it. Yeah. But really, it's something you've been holding for months, weeks, maybe even years.
Yeah. And I think like the reality is anyone who does anything at a high level knows that it's hard. It's hard. Like anything you want to do that's extraordinary is hard. So there are going to be these moments where it feels really hard and it feels like you can't do it. And that, I think every athlete or performer or anyone knows, you know, that there are these dips and these peaks, and that's just part of it. The problem is that for me, the hardest part about being in a state of, I don't even know the right word to describe it, but you could say, you know, depression, you could say anxiety, you could say just general darkness or lowness. The hardest thing about that is not the feeling that way. It's that the feeling that way makes you look at your life through that lens, and therefore all the love that's around you and all the people who are loving you and supporting you, you can't even see that love anymore. And so it's all just kind of getting consumed by this feeling. I mean, I've done a lot of tours, and that was, you know, and I've been in hard places before. And I think the reality was that it just became really, really clear to me that I needed to diversify in life, you know, and that since I was a kid, my entire life had been about one thing. It had been about performing and making music, and just a constant kind of cycle. And it was amazing. But the reality is that, you know, I really do believe all your eggs in one basket is a dangerous way, you know. And I was the number one rooter of like, I have no plan B. I don't have plan B, you know, and I had nowhere to go when things were getting hard. You know, I didn't have other aspects of life that I felt connected to, that I could have like leaned into to have a little bit of like a break from touring and come back and just find that balance. And I knew there was only one way of doing that, and it was by step, just like creating a life, you know. And so yeah, I mean, canceling that tour was by far the hardest decision of my life, and by far the greatest decision of my life. And it gave me a life, you know. It gave me time to discover so much about myself. And yeah, I'm smiling now because it's so far away, but it just did so much for me, you know.
Yeah. Who did you feel? I know later on you talk about in the same song this idea of, I feel pressure from the people that I love and it hurts.
Yeah.
But I know I got to do it, got to put me first. Like, who do you feel you were letting down at the time, yourself and others?
Yeah, I think the reality is not just as the artist, it's not just you that sacrifices everything to do that. You have a team of almost 100 people who are away from their families for a year, and they're every day working, they're just not sleeping, they're sacrificing everything to put this show on. That was one of the hardest pills to swallow, you know. It was just like, oh man. And like, they are excited to, like, you know, you got to be an insane person to be a touring crew or anyone on tour. You have to truly love it. You have to understand that like this is profoundly greater than you, and what's happening is magical. And so, and it was like not letting people down, and like, we've worked so hard. It was like, oh man, people were excited, you know. People were proud of what they created, and that was the hard part. Yeah.